Well, there it is. The Premier League season is officially over, and here is my season review reacting to, of course, the Premier League season for us Newcastle United fans. And I've got to say, this season has not been the season we thought it would be. Coming off the back of last season where we won ourselves a League Cup, and coming into this season, which showed so much promise at the end of course, last season. Well, we're coming into a campaign where we're going to be playing in the Champions League again, and in a new format of the Champions League as well, what we hadn't played in yet. And I've got to say, on the Champions League side of things, it was good. We played really well. We did really well in the competition. We got far in the competition, only, losing out thanks to Barcelona, or no thanks to Barcelona, shall we say, in what they did in the game against them, of course, at the Nou Camp. And I've got to say, other than the Champions League, looking at the league form this season, it has been absolutely shocking. It really has. At one point, we were sitting comfortably in an area where, we were going to be possibly up for European place next season, and then it all went downhill. The decisions from the referees this season, and I know we can't make that excuse at the end of the day, it's down to what the players do as well, but the referees have made a lot of really bad decisions this season. The PGMOL have seemed to be out for us this season. And then you look at the Eddie Howe factor as well. Eddie has seemed to be well and truly off his game this season. He hasn't seemed to be anything like he was last season. And I know he was dealing with a whole situation of pneumonia and that, as well. And then he's had to get himself going around again, to get back to fitness and be able to, manage the games forward. And then we had that whole situation in the summer, of course, with the whole Isak situation to Liverpool and him being very disrespectful and turning his back on the club and not wanting to play and all of that stuff. Obviously, all of them things play a factor into how the season then plays out. But looking at the business that we did in the transfer window, it just was not the business we should have been doing. 55 million on a player like Johan Wissa, who was already pushing towards the back end of his career, is really bad business. And that is something that cannot be repeated next season. It really can't, because if it is, then that's Eddie Howe not going to be here as a Newcastle United manager, and anybody else responsible in doing that kind of business is also not going to be in Newcastle United going forward. But thankfully, this season coming, we have Ross Wilson, Suds, and we have a proper sporting director in the role this time, being able to go in and look for the players. And that is going to be hopefully the key to a better season next season forward. But we didn't have that this season, and that is, of course, played a huge factor, along with all the other stuff that I mentioned. Eddie Howe not being on his game, the referees making bad decisions, and that has all played a factor into where we have ended up finishing in this Premier League campaign, which is 12th place in the league. It's not acceptable. It's not the place where we should be, and we all know we should be in European football if, of course, our performances show that. And this season, our performances haven't been anywhere near that level to be demanding European football. But the Champions League campaign, brilliant. We did well in that. We did well in the Cup again. And we seem to be that kind of team at the moment. We seem to be better in the Cups. We seem to be a Cup team at the moment rather than the League team. And that is okay, because that means we are, a better chance of going and winning a cup. But we do need to also get the league form down as well. And that's something, that is very annoying with Eddie Howe. He seems to only be able to do things well when he's got one game, a week. And that is what we're seeing last season. Once we didn't have European football and we're just playing the Premier League and then a cup game, in, say, the League Cup or the FA Cup, we're perfectly fine. But throw European football in there, and Eddie starts having trouble juggling things, and that, for me, needs to be sorted, because if he wants to continue being the Newcastle United manager, then he needs to get that right, and he needs to get his decisions right. He needs to get the tactics right as well. He needs to get the lineups right. He needs to make substitutions at the right time as well, and make them as, subs that help the team, not having to react to a situation where a team scored against where then he's throwing somebody on trying to react to it. It's got to be proactive ones instead of reactionary subs going forward. That's something that's definitely got to be looked at for the next season. But as for this season, I mean, it's just not anywhere near what we thought it would be. And the business on the transfer side of things, it's a massive, massive waste. We've seen some great transfers this season, the likes of Mali Chow, brilliant transfer, definitely one of the best signings we've made of course, this season, and he's proved that with the games that he's played for, with him already well into the double figures of games now, well into 50 plus games for Newcastle United, and that is absolutely brilliant. Voltemada as well, he played his part, with them early points that he was getting on the board for at the beginning of the season. If he didn't do that, then we would have been staring a relegation battle in the face come the back end of the season. And then, we've seen the likes of Kieran Trippier, the likes of Emil Kraft depart from the club this season as well. And the go, with the respect of all of us Newcastle United fans for a service well done at the club and what they have given to the club over the years as well. And, that's the kind of respect they deserve, Kieran Trippier and Emil Kraft, because they've literally worked their asses off for Newcastle United, and they've given their all when they've been able to, and been able to go on that pitch and play when they've been fit enough to be able to do that. And then we're seeing probably the departure as well of Anthony Gordon, so it's looking even more and more likely that he is going to be going to Bayern Munich, according to some rumours going around. There is already an agreement in place, and we're just waiting on the finalities of that, according to some rumours going around. But it looks like, Anthony Gordon's probably played his last ever game for Newcastle United, and that was against Crystal Palace, where he had an absolute stinker. Eddie Howe just didn't want to play him at all after that, which tells you all you need to know, to be honest, on the future of Anthony Gordon in Newcastle United. But as for this season review, like I say, it's nowhere near the season that we had last season, winning the League Cup. We all knew it was probably going to be a little bit of a different season, as what we're obviously going to have the European football again, and that was going to be a factor. As we've seen, Eddie does struggle when he has to juggle more than one ball in the air at a time, and that has been once again the factor this season. But the PGMOL has been out there to get with this season. Quite a few bad decisions from them, and hopefully that gets rectified, of course, next season, and hopefully we are able to push ourselves back into them European places. And I think we will, to be honest. I really do. I think we'll get back on track next season once Ross Wilson and Suds and the rest of the team working on the transfers in the summer, of course, get the players that we want in and be able to push forward with this new direction with the project as well, looking at the younger base of players. And then, of course, we've got the young players as well from the academy who have had an absolutely amazing 25-26 season as well, the likes of Charlie Robinson down in the unders, of course, for Newcastle United, and then the likes of Sean Neve and Alfie Harrison and all the other young lads that'll be coming up into the Newcastle first team hopefully next season. And I hope Eddie gives them a chance as well, because these young lads, they need to be given a chance. that's what they're there for at the end of the day. If you're not going to give them a chance, then, you know, that's going to really hamper the approach that we're trying to take here to looking at the younger demographic of players going forward. But let us know your thoughts about, of course, the season in a review, of course, of your own down in the comments. What do you think of that season just gone? Like I say, not the season we wanted, but, you know, we'll go again next season and hopefully, you know, we'll have a better one than what we've had this season. Until next time, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. However, lads.